The famous 12-step program for alcoholics began as part of Alcoholics Anonymous. It then expanded correctly into Narcotics Anonymous, those using drugs, then to Gamblers Anonymous, then to Overeaters Anonymous, then to Sexual Addiction Anonymous. There's now a program called Emotions Anonymous, people who don't feel emotions. I believe that the 12-step program applies to everyone. How so? We can all learn and grow from the 12 steps. The first step of the 12 steps says, we admitted we were powerless, that our lives had become unmanageable. This clearly applies to people who are addicted to drugs, addicted to alcohol, addicted to gambling, addicted to sexuality, addicted to eating. Clearly, our lives become unmanageable in these areas. That's obvious. Now, is there an area in our lives, besides those who are involved in addiction, which have unmanageability in our lives? So certain areas in our lives also become unmanageable. And if so, we would do well to go through the 12-step program to learn how to manage that which we find unmanageable. For example, if we experience the reality of a loss of a loved one, and we find it difficult to get over that, a widow or a widower, or a loss of a parent, and it's still paining us in a very, very poignant way more than a year later, it's something that we have not come to terms with, not worked through. We should work through the 12-step program to work through the loss. If we have a failure in our lives, a failure of a job, a failure of an endeavor or an opportunity, and we can't get over it, we're stuck, that's something which is unmanageable. We need the 12-step program. If someone is disappointed, if someone has a loss in romance, we should get over it. But if we're not able to move on to accept that reality, it has become unmanageable. We should seek out help, either a therapist or go to a 12-step program for bereavement. When a person is an addict and is addicted to drugs or to food or to narcotics or to alcohol, what they're doing is escaping the problem by escaping to numb themselves, to escape the problem by running into that addiction. And for a time period, they get a high or they get a rush, and that solves the problem because they're not thinking about the problem, don't have to think about the problem. They are numb to the problem. That's escaping the problem. That makes their lives unmanageable. So we think for the moment that things are better, but actually in the long term, we crash and it becomes worse. What happens when we get into a pattern that becomes unmanageable for our lives and we fail in our lives? For example, let's say I have a pattern of getting up at 11 a.m. or 12 noon, and I can't keep a job because I can't get up in the morning. Well, is that not unmanageable? This is not a drug addiction. It's not an alcohol addiction, but it's an addiction to an issue which I have not resolved. I need to be in a 12-step program to get over what appears to be laziness or lethargy or complacency or inability to get up in the morning. I need to get on with my day, get on with my reality, face the day. If I'm not able to do that, the 12-step program can help. There are two reasons why I may not seek help from a psychologist, a counselor, a therapist, or go to a 12-step program to work through my issues. And they are denial or rationalization. In denial, I say, it's not a problem. I can handle this. I can stop when I want to. I can get out of bed when I want to. I can get over this when I want to. I can get over this loss when I want to. I can succeed when I want to. But if I keep on seeing over and over again that I'm not succeeding, and my friends have told me, and my colleagues have told me, I think I should address this issue, that perhaps I should accept reality instead of denying reality and face the reality I have been avoiding by doing this behavior, which is trying to cope with the difficulty, cope with the loss, cope with the failure, but it's not succeeding. The second is rationalization. I'm rationalizing that there are good reasons why I am not succeeding. There are good reasons why people are causing this damage to me. I'm blaming other people. This is called rationalization. So the key to moving forward with my life and to accepting reality is not to escape reality, not to deny reality, not to rationalize away reality, but to face reality. The most effective way to deal with reality is to face it. And we can learn coping skills, techniques, strategies to face reality, to cope with reality, to handle reality, and to live in reality and move on with our lives if we seek out help through the 12-step program.